Hi all, welcome back to the puzzle solving series where you get to see what goes through my mind as I encounter positions for the very first time. Now I will load up a new position and start the timer. So first thing I notice is there is a big material imbalance and our king is not very safe. So white's king is uh, pretty close to getting checkmate on h4. If we were to pass here, then I imagine black's going to give a series of checks, could lead to mate. And so the win conditions for this puzzle are we're going to need to win the rook most likely. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't see us delivering checkmate, so we're going to have to pick from a series of checks to start out with because, as I mentioned, we don't have a move to pass. So that leaves our candidate moves to queen checks or possibly a check with the pawn to e5. So that's the only moves I'm going to consider. I would never consider a move here that doesn't give a check. So the moves that could be played are queen b8, queen b6, queen takes a6, queen d4, and e5. So the first move I would go with or start thinking about is queen b6 or queen takes a6 because they limit black's options the most. They still have to stay tethered to their queen, so I could try to use the fact that their king can't move away from the defense of the queen in order to limit their options. Queen takes a6 does not seem as good because my queen has a lot more options from the b6 square. So I would consider queen b6 first. Now after queen b6, their options are going to be king e5, king d7, or king to e7. King e7 I see instantly runs into queen b4 check, so that hits one of our win conditions, which is winning the rook. If they go king to e5 or king to d7, then I I don't know how to get them if they go to d7 is the thing. Maybe, yeah, it's interesting. So now I'm thinking their king can't be allowed to go back, which makes me a lot more inclined for this e5 check. Because e5, if they take, I get to go queen e3, which is a fork, and it means that they can't go back. So their options on e5 are to go king to c6, king to d5, or queen takes e5. If they go queen takes e5, then at that point, I wonder if I have. I guess queen b6, they're still going back. And if I go queen b8, trying to take advantage of this pin, then king e6. I need to get around to the other side. Queen e8, check, king back to d6. They can they can stay tethered enough. So another option is queen d4 or queen b6. We're about halfway through the timer. Queen b6. I looked at this. Could it be queen b8 then king d7? The critical squares are probably going to be like b4 or a5 to give a check from. So the squares they don't want to step on are like e7 is a big one. But if I'm not careful, they can just keep walking their king back on light squares. So like something like queen b6, king d7, queen b7, king e8. I don't think we ever get them if they're on a light square and just like cycle back and forth between those two. Similar thing with queen b8, king d7. I don't think that's going to work. So I could go around with that in mind, something like queen to d4, king e7, queen to b4 hits the win condition, and then they don't have king. They might have king c7. King c7 puts them on a dark square, which I actually though then I have queen c3, and similarly I have queen c3 on king to c6. So queen to d4, yeah, all of their king moves lead to a fork. So yeah, I think that's just it. They can't block with the queen. So yeah, on any of their moves after queen to d4 check, we will have queen to c3 or queen to b4, and we will win the rook. Okay, king e7 and queen to b4. And queen takes d2. Okay. Yeah, so that one was just trying to pick between a bunch of checks and understanding the geometry. So from the starting position, there are quite a few options here that we just had to parse through. And it's more about, instead of thinking about the squares that we want them on, we're also thinking about the squares that we don't want them on. So we have to keep them from going from d7 and e8. That's their safe zone if they're allowed to step to a light square safely. So we have to make them expose themselves on the c file here or on king to e7. So queen d4 check after working through all of that. And some of it's concrete calculation, some of it's logical reasoning. I'd say even though I reasoned through it a little bit, I was able to, a lot of that was just calculating and seeing that those other checks didn't lead to anything and just making sure that we exhaust all our options before rushing too much or guessing. Run through all of them and then figure out if you can find a concrete answer. And you might have solved this one more quickly. If queen d4 is the first move that you calculated, it's pretty easy to see that after any of black's responses that we can give a fork on the king and the rook. So yeah, it's good for you if you're able to solve that one more quickly than I did. But yeah, just the order I ran through the candidate moves there took me a little bit longer, but still came to the right answer in the end. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.